you need to look after it and it'll look after you. We have bases for a long time, especially if you've got a nice vintage base or one you've been saving up to buy for a long time. It stays with you for a long time. Looking after it, in general, you make sure it's set up well, so look after the neck. You make sure the truss rod's adjusted properly, and then most of the time you can tell by holding your finger on that fret there, the first and last, and look down the string in between around in the middle somewhere, between the fret and the string, and there should be just maybe half a mil, a fraction of sunlight in there, so it needs a slight curve that way. If it's out that way, it's no good. If your neck is not adjusted, it's going to end up being bowed over time if it's a wooden neck. So that takes care of the neck. The pickups, there's dust and skin that gets down in there. So if you're playing a lot, you should clean your bass once a week and use some guitar polish. This has got such a high lacquer on it, I could use car polish on this, a 2-pack lacquer on this, or I use glass cleaning, lens cleaning sometimes. So it gets, and it maybe drop some oil in the screws sometimes because they get rusty from your sweat. It's really important to have your bass set up well, and at least twice a year you're going to have to adjust it. Why? It's because of the elements. You got winter and you got summer. In winter, wood contracts, in summer it'll expand. So you're going to have to adjust your truss rod twice a year, or just keep an eye on it. Otherwise you'll find your action's either too low or too high. And so it's important to have that set up, and set up by someone that knows what they're doing. You can do it yourself if you learn. There's plenty of ways. Basically it comes down to height, having a nice action on this part, and the saddle's flat, not angled like that, but flat. It's the height of the saddle going up and down that's important, not the angle of it. Otherwise you'll end up busting strings down. That's another thing. If this gets gouged in there through the strings, it'll bust strings at the bridge, so you need to have that filed now and again. So looking after your bass is important, to keep it clean and adjusted. And then when you're travelling, keep it in a good case if you're in heat, if you've got something in the boot of your car, if you're in a plane. Never travel in a plane with a gig bag. Always use a flight case.